here we are. I'm going to do a little painting here. I got a 12 by 16. 12 by 16 inches. Canvas. Stretch canvas. I'm going to do a little painting here. I'm going to do some flowers. A little pile of flowers. This is going to be a loose brush style, of course. The kind of stuff that I like to do. Not only I like to do, but it's the kind of stuff that I practice and practice and practice. So may I say it, the kind of stuff I'm good at. Here, let me push it a little bit here. Someone already told me, like, dude, like, find a better angle. I don't know, what can I do? Like what can I do? Like hold it while I'm painting? Just guys, you know, be cool with it. This is the way it is right now. All right, here we go. Let's do some flowers. Let's do some flowers. We can do some flowers. All right, guys. Enough with the crazy talk. Okay, this is supposed to be a table right there. Table. Let's see. Let's do this. Ooh la la. I used to be a musician, and the same thing that happened to me as a musician happens to me with painting, where people are like, "Man, you're just kind of making it as you go, right?" That's what they used to tell me. I used to. I wasn't anything like, you know. I was just like a local musician, but I used to love to record a lot. And people used to tell me, "Man, it seems like you just, you know." It was really just the haters that they were telling me that, because the rest of the people were like, "Oh man, that sounds great," or whatever, you know. But it still happens to me today, where people are like, "Man, it just feels like you're just kind of like shooting from the hip." That's because I am. So here we go. Let me make some. Some flowers, okay? These are flowers. Very, very cool stuff. I love doing this loose brush stuff. And this is not so loose, because sometimes I'll go really loose with the, what do you call it? The medium, the oils. So I go back and forth. Sometimes I do it really loose. Sometimes I won't do it so loose. Like right there, I'm loosening up. Look right here. Bam, 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 bam. But you know, it's whatever works. Whatever works for you. It can't all be the same, right? Because then you get bored and you're like, "Oh man, what am I doing wrong?" You're not doing anything wrong. You haven't grown. That's all. This has happened to me over and over, where I'm like, "Man, what am I doing wrong?" You're not doing anything wrong, dude. You're painting. You're stuck in your comfort level. You know, your comfort zone, and that is it's okay if you want to be there. You know, a lot of artists are like, "I must become the painter of light." You know, stuff like that. Like, okay, cool. But it can become a trap, you know. Comfort zone sort of thing, sort of dealio. Ooh la la! Check that out, guys. I'm like, guys and girls. Here we go. Let's do this. A little bit of color. A little bit of color never hurt anybody. Maybe, I don't know. There we go. Some color in there. Let's get some color. Ooh la la. There we go. So I want to thank you guys for joining us, my wife and I, today at our little cafecito rant. We're going to be doing that every Thursday, and we're going to be doing other stuff. We're going to be talking about other cool stuff. So, just thanks for being part of the moment, you know. So I come to understand it is that painting is a bit like it's like everything else. There's a flow of energy that needs to keep going. And when I used to do the first videos, I didn't really understand how to explain that to people when they were asking me like why is it you paint like that? It looks like you're painting like you're frantically painting. That's how I do it. I don't think that that's everybody needs to do it that way. Not at all. I think that everybody has to find their own thing that makes it. But I don't think that you're gonna find it. You're not gonna find it unless you do it enough. Unless you do it a lot. I didn't find it right away. It took me a while to be like, oh, okay, I see what my angle is. I'm still developing my angle. It's still not fully. I don't think it's fully identified or fully expressed or whatever. And I'm still, even though people are like, man, you do an abstract and I can recognize it. Some people have told me, I don't know if they tell me that because they're being nice or no, I believe some people, some of my collectors. They're like, you do an abstract and I know that it's yours. The same thing if you do a figurative work or whatever, I know that it's yours. Like I can tell. There's a certain thing that you do, whether you're doing abstract or or not. So I think that it didn't come overnight for sure. It didn't just show up and be like, oh, dude, this is your voice. Maybe it did, but it wasn't developed. Let's put it that way. I hadn't developed it. I don't know. Some artists are very blessed. They have voice right away. What they don't have is volumes of work. They have like 5 paintings with like a beautiful voice they worked on. What I mean, voice is like their style, the way that they carry the brush, the way that they, the brush stroke or whatever. That's what I mean by voice. Check it out. Bam. All right. I mean, it's so many different ways of doing this, right? Spending time to be in a singular way. I don't know. I find it like my wife talks about dressing up. She's like, I was the kind of person that liked different types of clothes. She's into fashion and that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of girls. And guys too. And she was like, I'm not very singular, the way I dress. It's like I like different styles and whatnot. And when I think about it, me, I'm like, oh man, no, I was like that awkward kid that was like, I'm going to dress up like a rocker, like a poet. Like it was very singular. It was like this. So when I created artwork, it was the same way because that's what we're told in art. You have this very singular thing that, if you do portraits, God forbid, you shouldn't do still lifes. Or I have people tell me, like, your portraits are great, your still lifes, are horrible. Or you don't know how to convey it, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, see, that's kind of stuff I don't understand. I think that it's just the constructs that we've created, I mean, look at Caravaggio would say that it was all the same, whether he was painting anything, portrait, landscape, whatever he did, it was the same thing. I don't remember exactly the words he used, but something like that. It doesn't matter whether I'm painting I'm painting flowers or I'm painting a piano. It's still me painting it. Check it out. Check it out. Here we go. That's a cool thing about color. Even if you try to like do something with it, you know, it'll start doing its own thing. Jafea Arts asks, "Did you ever go to art school?" I didn't. I shadowed artists. I shadowed a couple of artists that I really thought, you know, were doing something great. But I never went to art school. I took classes. I took art theory classes and stuff like that, but never formally. Like I didn't attend an academy of art or anything like that. It was just, you know, just doing it on my own. Thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, I think. Thank you. Appreciate it. What I did do is I visited museums a lot. That's one of the things that I'm always recommending artists when they're like, what direction should I go? How should I continue to learn? I would highly recommend go check out the guys who already did it. Like, there's a lot of artists that are really great, and you know they do workshops and whatnot, and you know they're doing that kind of stuff. I like that for learning, but when I started shadowing artists and attending like workshops and stuff like that, that was one of the things I didn't like. That well, they were not doing anything wrong, but me, I started realizing that, man, I'm painting like this guy, you know, and it's okay when you're learning. There's nothing wrong with it. You want to do that, right? You want to do that. You want to start picking up stuff. I think that's really cool. But as you develop as an artist, at least for me, I don't know. I can't say for other people, but for me, I started realizing that I wanted to kind of create my own mix match, right? Like pick up from here, pick up from there, and kind of like, you know, work things out and see what my own voice and potential was going to look like, as opposed to I want to learn how to paint like that. You know, it's a really cool stuff. It's a really cool thing, but because I wanted to make you know, art my thing, like my life purpose, my more than my just my career. I wanted to make it, you know, wanted to develop this vision and share with the world and all this. I was like, man, I have to start developing something more unique than just, you know, doing the same thing that this other guy did. Something like that. I love that. She says, art school can ruin you, follow your heart. Yeah, I don't know, probably. I've heard some artists who did great in art school, but didn't really, you know, understand like how to develop a unique voice and whatnot. What I have heard that works really well, and this is something that again I tried for a little bit. I didn't like the direction I was doing, you know, the way, maybe I was too young, I don't know. But I've heard other artists, you know, say that it's great. It's the ateliers, right? You actually go and you learn from an artist, not just, you know, you start really shadowing the artist, not just the artwork and the style, but you start learning how they market, how they, you know, and you start meeting other guys who are doing it or girls who are doing it, who are really creating you know, if that's your thing, right? If you want to create a living and all that, you start meeting other people that are also doing that. And I think that is that's a hell of a thing to learn, because not everybody's willing to teach that. Like, people are willing to be like, oh yeah, you know, this is how you do the brush strokes and blah blah blah. But not everybody's willing to be like, oh, I'm gonna tell you what I do and how I do things. And the ateliers, artists are very open about that. Well, they charge, right? Many of them, to do stuff, you know, to teach you like how to take proper photographs and blah blah blah. There's all kinds of info also on YouTube, I think, that artists are sharing now. I share a lot of info on YouTube regarding stuff like that. Hey, thank you so much, and Angela Monte. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I think that regardless of you know, the what you're shooting for, I think that there is no right or wrong way. I think you just kind of gotta keep doing it, and then the right thing's gonna start showing up. You know, the more you do it, it's like the next step. What's the next step? Well, the one after this one. You know, I know it sounds so obvious, but it took me a long time to realize that, maybe because I've been very, very, what do you call it? Not have a lot of, I forgot what the word is. Come on, get it out. What is the word? The word of the day. Very, I don't know. What do you call when someone can't wait? It's like, man, I gotta do it. I gotta do it now. I gotta learn that, or whatever. I was like that when I was younger. So I mean, who isn't, right? But I think I was really like that. So I didn't want to go through the trouble of waiting for that. You know, I was like, man, I have to figure out me. You know, and it was both good and not. You know, when I look back, I'm like, man, I should have stuck a little longer, right? Now I don't really care, but some time back, like, I should have stuck a little longer with the artist who was, you know, teaching, anatomy, because I met a couple of artists who were really good, you know, talking about anatomy and really showing what is the best, you know, for them, right? But I could have learned that. It would have been a little better if I'd learned that. Or some plein air painters were really great. They still are. I mean, there's plenty of them here in Arizona, and I should have stayed a little longer with a couple of them. You know, learn more. Maybe not so much just the painting, but learn. What I recommend is that you want to go learn. Not just the skill. The skill is important, of course, very important. But learn things that they already know from experience. Like, learn their experiences, because I think the experience is the most important thing. Like, this is how I got started. This is how I sell my work. This is how I store my paintings. This is, you know, like that kind of stuff. Because there's certain things that we don't know, you know, certain mechanics. And that's why we get lost in mechanics. You know, people are like, what brand of paint should I buy? Or this or that. And then we go and we kind of paralyze, and we have to ask people. People don't want to share the info. Or we go to the art store, and their salespeople are not really artists, or they're artists, but they're just kind of hobby artists. They you know, they don't do it that much, so they might not know that much. And that, and on and on and on and on. And that's kind of what I've learned, right? That you wanna become buddies with artists for different reasons. Like I look back now, I'm like, man, I had a couple of good photographer friends. They could have helped. You know, it's that I being an artist is a very solitude endeavor. You know, you're always alone. And it's not a good thing. It's a good thing when there's time for that. When you're creating art and you want to do it and blah blah. But as when you're trying to learn in a career and whatnot, it doesn't serve very good. It doesn't help us that much. You know? it would have helped me so much to have had a friend or an instructor who was who understood product photography, who understood. It would have helped me a lot to be around people who maybe were not artists, but who understood e-commerce, and on and on and on, all those things. So because I figured most of that stuff on my own, and it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So, it would have helped a lot to be around those people. So, anyways, that's my rant on that. So there you guys have it. Very simple, yet effective, as always. Simple and effective. Not just simple, it's got to be effective too. Okay? The name is Jose Trujillo. Man, I'm one hell of an artist. Let me sign my beautiful name right here. This right here, it says the world's greatest living artist. That's what it says right there. Forget about saying anything else. It does not say anything else. It just says world's greatest living artist. Let me do a close-up. Let me do the money shot, as some people call it. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the richness in that. Man, I'm proud of my work. See, this is another thing. You need to be proud of your work. A lot of people out there, they're not doing their stuff. They're not showing their stuff. They're kind of just painting in their basement, and I understand. I've been there. Not recording it, not taking photos, not showing it. And I get it. Part of that is because we're developing, I get that. But also, part of that, because I get it too, is we are afraid of criticism. And we are very afraid of self-criticism. And, I look at every single one of these as a masterpiece. Like Picasso used to say, there is no bad Picasso, there is no bad Trujillo. There can't be bad Trujillo, because if there's a bad Trujillo, then that means that I sold someone a bad painting, and I've never done that. It's always been great where it's been. So it's a good way to start looking at things. Good way to start talking to yourself, because it's true. It's just that we are most of us, or many of us, I don't know, we don't believe in our selfies that much. We need to start believing in our selfies. There you guys have it. Look at the richness in that. Man, look at that. This is how a master artist signs Trujillo. Bam. All right, guys, take care. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining. Till next time. Bye-bye.